3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to episode 7 of the Decade Old Podcast. My name is... Hello?
What?
Connor. I know you have memory problems, but your name is Connor.
Fitzy.
Or even Fitzy. Just
Or
in case
Ditzy.
you forgot.
Well, that can be our
Sat nav.
fucking pre-intro thing. But okay.
Dude, bloopers, Lamo.
Hello and welcome to episode 7 of the Decade Old Podcast, starring me, Connor Keary, Gloria Shannon,
Hi.
Karen O'Sullivan,
Hi.
and Richard.
Hello. What's my name
Okay,
again?
someone's still a bit sore from
What's my
last
name
week.
again?
No, never mind. No,
It doesn't matter who I am. What
fine.
matters is my plan.
Don't worry about who. No. Okay. So, this month we looked at June of 2005. And it was a pretty good month, all things considered.
Yeah, it was. I liked most of the films.
Either the best or one of the best months we've done so far.
Probably the best, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not the best.
Normally they're 2 and 2, but I think we've 3 fairly
Probably
good
the
movies.
least shit, but not the best at the same time.
Well, I think it was best quality-wise in regards to the movies we watched, but who knows how that's going to translate into the quality of the podcast. Might be a shit podcast, you never know. So, the 4 movies we watched were War of the Worlds, Cinderella Man, Land of the Dead, and Batman Begins. So, we're starting things off with War of the Worlds. Karen, talk us through it.
War of the Worlds is a film where aliens have come to invade Earth, and they've planted these machines underneath like the crust of the Earth for like millennia, and they finally decided to come and take over, and it's done through the eyes of like, you know, a like small American family where a divorced father is looking after his 2 kids for the weekend and decides that, like, you know, he doesn't get on very well with them and has to bring them back to Boston to their mother during this alien invasion.
So the movie was based on a book that was written by H.G. Wells in 1898, and then in 1938 on Halloween night it was adapted into a radio play by Orson Welles on an episode of Mercury Theatre on Air. And this is the thing that launched War of the Worlds into the pop culture. This is the one where it's like it's a radio play, but it's played like it's real.
Yeah, and it
So
was done in a time where people believed everything they heard in the radio, so
'Cause
they
it-
freaked.
It was done as if it was a new show.
Yeah, and then people hopped into their cars and they drove out of the cities because they thought aliens were invading. It happened like right after the Munich Pact, so people thought that the Germans were invading. This is after Germany had just annexed parts of Czechoslovakia.
And they thought Germany had got aliens, or the Germans were
No,
the aliens.
they just they tuned in for like 2 minutes and heard, oh my god, there's bombs going off and people are dying and blah blah blah, and then they just went, oh no, the Germans are invading, let's get out of here. They didn't bother to stick around to listen to the fact that no, it's actually aliens. Apparently Orson Welles was a bit of a cunt the way he did it. He deliberately sort of led people to believe it was real.
Yeah, because that's how people like lived back then. It was the radio told you everything you needed to know.
Yeah, but he deliberately sort of fucked around with the schedule. He was like, he needed to have a couple of breaks where he reminds the audience that, by the way guys, this isn't real, but he scheduled them for parts of the show where he knew people would switch over to another channel, so he knew the majority of the people wouldn't hear these things.
Yeah, well, that's their fault.
That's funny.
I mean, he was trying to make a pretty good, funny show for us to...
And it's famous
Admire.
now, so
He did his job.
Can anyone else not think of Orson Welles without thinking of Maurice LaMarche? He's ruined Orson Welles for me.
I don't know who that is.
He's the voice of the brain and Pinky and the Brain.
Oh, and he does a Orson Welles impression.
Yeah.
Oh, I never knew that.
He does it in everything. Like if he's ever in Futurama or whatever, he'll always do the brain voice.
I thought the intro from Morgan Freeman is amazing.
everything that has you know you're going to be watching something kind of, I don't know, good when Morgan Freeman is narrating it.
He speaks with a voice of authority.
Yeah, his voice is just like amazing. He's like the best narrator in the world.
This film didn't know what it wanted to be. The first minutes, it was like a disaster thing. The ground cracking and everyone running away. Then the aliens shooting people and making them disappear naked. And then halfway through when they're in the car, everyone acted like zombies, literally putting their hands through their windscreen. And then at the end it became stealth alien with literally aliens and them all hiding all over the place. And then the last scene is World War Z.
Well, I like the stealth section. as
Oh
it were.
no, the man who they were with, I don't know who he was, but he spoke so slowly and boring.
That
I
guy.
actually sped up the film a little bit when he was talking.
I forget the actor's name, but that guy's famous for something.
For talking like he's fucking 85.
Who was that guy?
Slowy McSlowpants.
I think you're just impatient, Richard.
No, this lad, oh my god, boy. It was like listening to a priest or something. Jesus.
No, the crazy guy in the bunker. He's someone. He's really
Tim
famous.
Robbins?
Is it Tim Robbins?
I don't know, I just saw Tim Robbins on Wikipedia.
I don't know. Shit, I really should know this. I can't remember.
Yeah, well, you're slipping now because you realize you're not.
Oh,
the
I'm
star,
doing
you're
a
just slipping.
terrible job at hosting this podcast. By the way, guys, we've edited this out, but I forgot to write down the directors or the writers or the budgets or the gross of any of the movies. So I'm dropping the ball.
Steven Spielberg directed War of the Worlds.
Yeah,
And the 2000s were a shit era for him.
you can really tell when Steven Spielberg's heart isn't in a project, I think. And actually, one way to gauge it is by the quality of his child characters. When he gives a shit about a project he's working on, you get child characters like in E.T. But when he doesn't give a shit, you get like The Lost World Jurassic Park, where you have a girl doing a backflip and kicking a raptor through the window.
Well, I like Dakota Fanning. but
I
that
like
was
Dakota
like
Fanning
kinda
as well, and
everything.
this is her second appearance on the podcast. I thought she was the best thing about Man on Fire by a country
Yeah.
mile.
Definitely.
And she's great in this, it's just her character doesn't make a lick of sense.
She's just
She's
a
very-
scared girl the whole
But
time.
she's very calm for a 10-year-old whose like world has been invaded by aliens. I think
But-
she's very calm.
But she's
actually.
calm and like stupidly cool and sort of witty, and then she's like freaking out in the next scene like a normal 10-year-old girl would, and then she's giving you like really sort of sage sort of advice that no 10-year-old girl
Well,
ever
actually.
in the history of the world would give. Like you wouldn't
And
get.
I don't believe her and Tom Cruise as like father daughter.
No,
He's
at all.
more like, I don't know, an uncle or a big brother that she's just like, okay.
Well, that's
How many times did he
because,
tell her
I
to
mean,
shut up?
what's the other fella's name? Tim? Like, from the sounds of it, like, he's been more referred to her for the most part.
Yeah.
And it's just more like,
So maybe,
like that.
yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Maybe it's meant to look like he's not really. They're not really having the chemistry of a father daughter because he's not meant to be around very often.
But do you remember when she says like you won't get through to him like that? When he's trying to talk to you.
Yeah, it sounds a
It's-
bit mature
yeah.
for something. But then again, I have a 9-year-old sister, and I'm sorry, but she could come out with something like that.
She could come out with you won't get through to him like that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Really?
Have you met her?
I have met Siobhan.
She
But-
comes out with like humdingers that you're just like, where did that even come from?
Probably she just heard it on TV.
No, she okay, in fairness, she grows up with like there's 2 adults are her big sisters and her brother is a 17-year-old boy, so like, and then she lives with 2 like a 40-year-old woman and a 50-year-old man, so she's just hearing like adult conversation all the time.
Yeah, but that's just it. She probably heard it from somewhere. It's not like her own brain came up with it. Like I remember I talked to an aunt not too long ago who said she was really impressed because like 10 or 15 years ago I said I feel like I'm going to be describing this to a psychiatrist one day. But then
I can so see you
Wow.
but
saying
then
that.
when she said that,
Like
oh,
little Fitzy.
so when my aunt said that to me, oh, that sounded so intelligent for the little kid to say, I was sort of like, oh shit, because that's a quote from The Simpsons, and that's where I must have gotten it. So it
Yeah.
wasn't me who came up with that. I was just sort of aping what I heard on TV.
She did. She probably heard, like, the mother saying it to her, like, new husband one time, like, oh, you won't get through to him like that, like, leave him off. I mean, so what?
I get what you're saying. Her character changes from freaking out normal 10-year-old to like relatively calm, even though there's aliens. Like she just looks at, and I know she looks afraid, but she just looks up at the alien when he comes to grab her. But like I'd be freaking out, and I'm a grown woman.
Yeah.
And she was just looking up at it. But then she's freaking out when something else is going on, and I'm just like, but that was way scarier
She's
a minute ago.
basically the worst kind of character, is whatever the script needs her to be. So when the script needs her to give sage advice so the main character can reflect, she's there to give that. When she's there when the script needs her to sort of freak out, so the main character has someone to protect, she's there to freak out.
I thought Goku was a worse
She's
character.
just a poor character.
Goku was worse, but maybe that's just because I hate angsty edge teens.
I mean, I also hated the teenager as well.
Yeah.
Robbie.
Yeah. I hate most teenagers in movies, and not because they're teenagers, just because they're so lazily written. I mean, we were all teenagers at one point. I mean, not too long ago. So we know that teenagers are not sort of horrible,
moody and
droopy,
like,
moody,
Angsty anal bag.
yeah.
But then
They're real people with real
they
sort of...
are, but they do, like,
Yeah, but they're real
looking
people
back at a teenager in particular, I know, and I love him, my brother. He is just like, 1 minute he could be fine and you can have a great conversation, and the next minute it's like, fuck you all, I hate you, because he had a fight with his friend that he didn't actually speak to for 3 years, but now he's speaking to them again and they had a fight.
But they're people with their own personalities and fears and desires.
Yeah.
But all they ever get in most movies is just, it's fucking shit.
Like, Goku might as well have been an unfunny Kevin from Harry Enfield. He just lived to defy his father. I know his father was kind of a moody cunt as well, but
Kevin
Goku was so fucking annoying. Just, I'm gonna drive, Dad. I'm gonna go to the army,
Why
Dad.
do you keep bringing up Goku?
Because he was Goku in that terrible fucking
Goku
Dragon
has
Ball
nothing
movie.
to do with this. That's an
That's what I call him, because I can't think of him as anything but Goku.
But Kevin, the teenager, was a parody of
Yeah, he's funny, but this
That's
guy's an unfunny Kevin.
I thought the heat ray sequence was cool.
The witch?
The heat ray sequence.
The zapping
Yeah.
everyone.
And then they're all
But it never... I think that's when the movie peaks, and it never gets that good again.
Now the opening of the invasion was quite cool. The way like it started off with just like, oh look, it's a cool lightning storm. Then it's just like, oh, this is not a normal lightning storm.
Yeah. And then everything stops working.
So how did your man still film it?
Yeah, that was a.
There's a lad there with the camera filming it.
Cause, was it like battery? I don't know.
No, because all back.
Because it's a film.
Cars
There's
stopped
always
working too.
something in a
Yeah.
film that doesn't quite make sense.
But it was done for that shot. It was
Plus-
done so you
Yeah.
got the shot of the people running on the little mini camcorder.
Something I noticed towards the end is like Tom Cruise asks a guy what's happening because the aliens stopped working or whatever, like the robot tripod thing has stopped working, and your man's like, it's acting erratically. Oh, it wasn't acting erratically when it tried to come and take over Earth, but it's acting erratically because it's walking around in circles.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Also, they have anuses. That's
That
disgusting.
actually just really annoyed me. I was like, but the whole thing is fucking radical or irrational.
Though it's irrational to begin with because it's walking on 3 legs. As Roger Ebert very cleverly pointed out, things naturally move better on 4 legs than 3.
But like, it's just funny that it was like, oh, it was acting erratically because it was going around in circles. I was like, okay, the whole fucking thing is irrational.
It's like, it's good. The movie is good. It's fine, but it's just missing something. It's missing a sort of sense of discovery, or even a larger sense of
Well,
threat.
apparently at the end, the discovery is we have the right to live here because we've lived here for so long, and aliens just aren't going to survive here because they don't have immunity.
The bugs.
Isn't that basically what Morgan Freeman said at the end?
Yeah.
That like, that's why they all like died or whatever.
I think in every sort of iteration or version of the story, the reveal that they died because of microorganisms is always disappointing.
Yeah.
So like, did
It's
they
like,
not
it
think
was disappointing
with
in
the
the book, it was disappointing in the musical, it's disappointing in this film. I think the only version where they don't die of microorganisms, and correct me if I'm wrong, is like the 50s version, which
Oh,
is
I
about
don't
as
know.
far away from the book as you can get.
And that alien hand coming out with that tripod thing was seriously creepy looking.
I think Steven Spielberg has a hentai fetish. There's too many tentacles in this movie, and that spaceship had an anus with a tentacle coming out of it.
Well, I just want to say right off the bat, I fucking love Steven Spielberg, but this is not one of his best efforts.
It was good film though overall.
Nah.
Like if you weren't marking it to the level of a
Yeah, if you're just
Spielberg
watching
film.
it at home with your family or your friend, like if you're not going through every single detail and analysing every single thing, it's like, okay, that was a pretty decent.
There's not a whole lot to analyse. It's grand. It's just
But that's what we do.
Why would
We
I
take
act like zombies for the
holes.
car?
it goes so little distance with
Because
such
they were all
fantastic source
desperate
material.
to get out of there.
But you're sticking his fucking hands through the windscreen. Would that not like fucking hurt a lot?
It would, but survival instinct kicks in when you want to get into the car because in your brain you think the car is the safest place to be.
I thought that was stupid. It was like watching a zombie film. The ending was ridiculous. Just, oh, everyone's here. All grand. Oh, you didn't die in the fire. Oh, ex-wife, how are you?
Yeah, it was a bit, for a disaster film, it was a bit like, oh.
Nicey.
World War Z.
Yeah.
Like that.
But like, then again, girls that are mushy like me would like that now at the end, that
Like,
Robbie. Because I was actually starting to get annoyed. I was like, why haven't they asked where Robbie is?
I was
She's
delighted.
there hugging the daughter and everything, and she didn't turn around and go, where's Robbie?
I was delighted when Goku got set on fire. I was like, yes, we don't have to see that cunt anymore.
He's not Goku.
Well, whatever the fuck they call him.
Robbie.
Oh, and that woman that was trying to steal Dakota Fanning was really annoying. I was like, back off, bitch.
Yeah, but she didn't know that the father was still alive and right there.
Yeah, I know, but like, just because she's a 10-year-old doesn't mean she's stupid. She was trying to tell her that, you know, my dad's coming.
Wait, it was a 10-year-old girl in the middle of a flipping war zone. Do you think it'd be like your
She's
civic
just
duty to
annoying.
try this?
I was like,
I
Why
know
would you
it's
want
annoying.
extra baggage anyway?
If you found a little
Yeah.
girl in the middle of a war zone, would you not want to
I was
get
just
her
about
out
to
there?
ask.
Another
yeah, but I
mountain,
wouldn't want
please.
to separate her from her
But
dad.
maybe she didn't realise that the dad was still alive, saying my dad's coming back. Could mean anything. The dad could have died 10 minutes
The
ago.
one just annoyed me because I could see that the dad was kept looking back at her, or the Tom Cruise kept looking back at her. I was like, just fucking leave him there. He's being a little asshole. And go and get your daughter.
Might as well save the good one.
No, but like the son wouldn't listen to him.
If
So-
you had a choice to, like, with these, like, if you had Robbie, or whatever the girl's name is, and you can only
So
say one
Edward
of
and
them.
Siobhan.
Okay,
Right? So my 17-year-old brother and my 9-year-old sister.
yeah.
But the thing is, my 9-year-old sister needs way more help. And if Edward's being a little dick and won't listen to me and like realise that I know better and just come with me and then I'll be able to protect him. Instead he wants to run off and go with the army or whatever, grand. But I can't force him, no matter that I can force him to do anything now in civilization where there's nothing wrong. And what, I'm just supposed to let her die and let her be taken by some crazy lady who won't listen to her? No. It's not her fault her brother's a dick.
I mean,
That's
he
just-
was looking back to see if they'd actually taken her, he would have got after her. I mean, he was trying to time it so he could keep both his children.
Oh yeah, I know, but like, just I thought the brother was being annoying. I was like, would you just listen to your dad, please?
So, Richard,
Hmm?
how much did this movie cost to make?
It cost 132 million and it made 591.7 million in the box office.
Steven Spielberg movie is never not going to make money.
Well, yeah. The man literally is loaded of Milky Bars.
So, final thoughts on War of the Worlds?
I liked it for the most part. It's a
Yeah,
good film.
overall it was
Yeah.
good. It was definitely one of the better ones that we have.
Yeah, I thought it was
reviewed
fine.
on this.
Yeah, watching it, there's nothing else on.
And moving on to our next film of this episode, Cinderella Man. Cinderella Man is based on the true life story of a heavyweight Irish-American boxer called James Braddock during the Great Depression. He gets banned from the sport of boxing. He's only having a few days per week down at the docks, obviously making very, very, very little money. Himself and his family are basically living in poverty. They've switched off the electricity. His kids get sent away, and he gets one last chance to come back to the sport of boxing and fight some guy for about $250, which he does. And people realize, holy shit, this guy's actually really good. So he starts working his way up the rankings and fighting more and more and more guys and getting more and more and more money until he gets a shot to fight this guy called Max Baer, who's a German boxer who is notorious for having killed 2 men in the ring.
And being an arsehole.
So yeah, guys, what do we think of Cinderella Man?
Boring.
I enjoyed it. I don't like the wife, but I don't like the actress that plays the wife either, so...
I
And
hate
I
Russell
think
Crowe.
you thought it was boring because Richard disappeared to go to the toilet for the best few minutes of the film, which was the fight between Jimmy and Max Baer.
When nature calls, nature calls.
Yeah, I know, but that was the best. Like, I was kind of on the edge of my seat. I just wanted him to knock that asshole out.
But I do regret that because I will admit now, even though I thought the film was boring, the fight scenes are actually well put together.
Yeah.
Maybe I just like seeing Russell Crowe get boxed.
But he kept like, Max Baer kept like punching in the balls and like grabbing his balls and stuff, and I was like, such such an arsehole. Like, I wanted, oh.
Was below the belt not like also disqualification?
It depends.
Especially if you do it twice on purpose.
I've seen fights where guys literally get punched in the balls like over and over and over again.
Richard is holding his balls.
And the referee is just like, oh no, it was on the belt.
Richard, you didn't actually get kicked in the balls. Stop thinking about it.
It's at the referee's discretion. Usually just be a DQ after 1 or 2 times. But apparently the depiction of Max Baer in the movie is totally wrong. He didn't kill 2 men in the ring. I think he only killed 1.
Yeah, well,
only one.
Yeah, but they have to dramatize it.
And he didn't sort of hit on.
He has to be the bad guy.
Yeah, but he didn't hit on his wife, like in the nightclub. You know, apparently he was actually a nice enough guy.
And the guy who played him, sorry if you're not listening, but if anyone who knows who's listening, because you are ugly.
Oh,
right. Did you say I looked like him?
No.
I said you had that evil look.
The
Yeah.
evil look.
Just that one
But
look.
remember, like the first scene we saw him, you turned to me and you said, "He looks like you."
It's because he was like, right, Fitzy has this like look in his eyes sometimes, and it's like, I'm going to murder you.
And that's the look you man had.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
that's what you.
It was the look,
okay.
not like
Oh,
that
sure.
you looked alike.
Yeah.
How come now you can't remember your own name? You can't remember the name of the character, but you can remember something bad Karen said to you yesterday. You are a woman, Fitzy. A woman.
Do you think Ron Howard, who directed this movie, caught what he was looking for?
I suppose. I can't think of anything he did tragically wrong.
Because I mean, well,
apart from casting Russell Crowe.
this is the definition of Oscar bait. So he was fishing for that Oscar marionette statue.
Yeah, probably.
Did you have enough?
I won't say it was like the most amazing film I've ever seen, but it was good. Like, it was entertaining or whatever.
It's too long.
Well, okay, it is definitely at its heart.
I think it's a forgettable film.
It's definitely at its heart. It's definitely at its heart a sports movie, and it's got all the trappings of a sports movie.
My dad loves this movie.
So it's got the bad guy athlete, you know.
Yeah.
You're not good enough to survive in the ring with me, and you've got the manager who's kind of like sly and sort of lovably, sort of scampish.
Yeah, and his friend.
Yeah, and then you've got the friend who dies.
And then you've got the wife who's like, no, I don't want you to do it.
But I think there's enough detail in the movie in other places that it elevates the material. I mean, I loved all the stuff about the Great Depression, the costumes, the sets, the props.
Why is the Great Depression so fucking miserable? Do they ever make a comedy or a
The
happy
Great
movie about
Depression.
Yeah.
The clue is in the name.
It could be ironic.
Well, you can't make a comedy about the Great Depression.
But you can
can
have
if
it
you
with set in the Great
Yeah.
Depression.
Yeah.
But like, how I agree with Connor. How could you have it like
Okay,
about it?
Yeah, a
Because-
comedy about like your children starving and you having to send them away.
If you
to
do it
live
the
with
right way, you can make anything funny.
random relatives. Like, what did he phrase as? I had to farm out my children.
Yeah.
I'm-
Oh, did you
that
did
scene where
anyone
you like
find out?
collected the money from the other people?
Did anyone find out if the place where because like he went to get money to help with the bills or whatever from the relief place? Did anyone find out if that's actually was the case in the 30s in America? Did
Oh,
he have-
where he goes for social welfare.
Well, like it wasn't called that. It was
Yeah, it was
like
called something else.
relief or something.
Yeah. But that was really odd. I had no idea there was such a stigma attached to receiving social welfare. I'm just going to call it that at one point.
What do you mean? There even is a bit now.
But he was ashamed of going there. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, the one behind the counter was like, I never thought I'd see you here. But like,
Yeah.
But
even
like we all know people who
in
signed up on the
Ireland
dole.
in the
Probably
time
one
as
of us
well,
or
it was
something.
the same.
no one wanted to like, like go up to someone and be like, yeah, I
People
need
back
help.
then were very proud. Like,
Yeah, but I know, and that's what I'm saying. But like nowadays, you just be like, oh yeah, I'm on the dole and such and such.
you'd be
Only
surprised.
scumbags would say that.
There are some people who would be very like, and apparently now I'm on disability allowance because I have arthritis, but some people I know, like my sister was on the dole and she was like, they make you feel like shit. They literally like, they treat you like you're scum of the earth just because you're coming in here to get a dole payment. But like she'd only be on it when she absolutely needs to be on it and when she hasn't got a job.
Like I've never been on the dole. I'm sure I will be soon enough once I finish college. But
That's
do
a
they-
great prediction. Go to college to go on the dole.
But do
Aren't
they?
we all?
But when you go to collect the dole, are they like, are you looking for a job and?
You have to. Well, I've never been on it because, like I said, I'm on disability. But the people that I know that have been on it, you have to every now and then fill in a form where you put in where you've sent CVs.
Yeah.
And everything, and the dates that you sent the CV in, or like the month or whatever, the week, and then they might ring up the place and be like, oh, they might ring up Centre and Six Mile and be like, did such and such put in a CV here or whatever.
Okay, but yeah, I mean, my point still stands that, in casual conversation today, no problem. Most people.
It's a lot more open, but lots of things are like you could come out and be like, oh yeah, just I'm gay.
But it's basically in this movie, it's basically like considered begging. It's about as low as you can get.
Yeah.
Not that
That's
there's anything
what
wrong
it
with
is.
beggars, but what do you think of Russell Crowe?
Shit, hate him.
He's good, but he's not good.
He's fucking terrible. Please go back to New Zealand.
Why do you hate?
Because he
Russell Crowe so
underacts and everything, and he's always so chill.
I prefer him in Gladiator.
He's a good actor.
Overrated movie.
He pulls it off, but you just see Russell Crowe trying to be James Braddock. You don't just see James Braddock.
Yeah.
Like if it was Daniel Day-Lewis playing James Braddock, I'm sure you'd have.
I'm surprised he didn't do this movie since it was such Oscar bait, and he's literally Oscar bait the actor.
I don't think Daniel Day-Lewis is sort of built enough or sort of athletic enough to play the part. Russell Crowe is like he's broad and he looks like he can handle himself in a fight. I think.
Yeah.
I just hate
Well,
Americans.
we know he can handle himself in a fight.
I didn't really like Broderick.
That's all was all choreographed, so it's not like we know he can actually handle himself in a fight.
I didn't like Broderick because he was doing the fighting Irish, the Irish look. Oh, fuck off, you fucking Yank. I hate Yanks trying to be Irish.
I thought the
heritage fags.
the fights, they're more realistic than they were in Rocky.
Rocky was more entertaining though.
But the Rocky movies are ridiculous. They're like their guard is like basically down by their belly button, and they're just getting repeated like punches in the face after punch in the face after punch after punch after punch. And they're not even grazing; they're like to the nose.
Yeah, they were more believable. It was more like you were watching. Like I actually felt now when he was fighting Max Baer, I was watching a real fight, and I was like, "Come on, Jamie!"
It was exciting. Yeah, I was rooting for him as well.
Say that though.
Poor Richard missed the whole thing.
Saying about the Rocky thing, how the fights are ridiculous though. Sylvester Stallone actually used to box people and receive boxes himself, even that broke two ribs in Rocky 4. The fights in that were probably, choreographed or stuntmen or whatever. Like so, Rocky's more realistic when you think about it, because he actually boxed the actors that got boxed himself.
But that's probably
He
why.
broke two ribs.
I'm saying
But
the
that's probably
choreography.
why it looks shit. It's because they weren't real boxers just hitting each other just with boxing gloves.
I'm saying
on.
the choreography in Cinderella Man was way more realistic than in Rocky.
Yeah, but Rocky was more realistic at the end of the day.
But I mean, it's still not totally realistic. Like
I think that's just silly though.
Yeah,
knowing
it
that.
should be all like purple face. I can't open my eye. But
they're not getting grazing blows, which is what you'd usually be getting in a heavyweight fight. I mean, one good solid fucking punch to the chin or whatever would knock you down from a heavyweight boxer, and they get loads.
But
of them.
then
and not only do they not get down, they're not
pretty
even bloody.
anymore, and
he looks pretty.
Apparently, loads of women like him. I don't see like he's fine. He's not ugly or
Is
anything,
he
but
just
I don't.
too
I wouldn't be
grizzled, or
creaming in my pants over him.
is he too grizzled looking, or is he just too old?
I don't know. It's just Russell Crowe.
Hey Gloria, do you want to go on a date with me? So I'm Russell Crowe. Yay.
It just wouldn't be as like out of all the celebrities, it wouldn't be the one that I'd be like swooning over or anything.
Who would be? Tom Hardy. Yeah.
He's a man left though.
Not as like Bane or anything, but I love.
I would
Tom
fuck
Hardy.
Bane now. I would fuck Bane. And Bronson.
And then the usual suspects for any woman my age. So maybe I don't know about Karen, but Ryan Gosling, Channing Tatum, that kind of thing.
You're actually the only woman I know who likes Channing Tatum. Oddly
Lots of women like Channing
No,
Tatum.
every woman I've spoken to says they hate him. I'm like, really? I thought he'd be like
Oh
the
my
go-to
god,
lad.
loads of women
The
like
thing
Channing
I hear
Tatum.
about Channing Tatum is that he's
Not
actually,
in the Foxcatcher.
he
He
comes-
is ugly in that.
about Channing Tatum is that he comes off a bit gay,
He just has a baby face.
a bit camp.
Yeah, I like baby faces though.
Tell you what though, Tom Hardy in this movie, you'd have really pulled it off. He'd been fantastic. He'd have looked the part and he'd have been able to act the part as well.
Yeah.
Sure, he's a big guy.
You would have. Oh,
5'7".
I love Tom Hardy. So fucking gorgeous.
Well, Russell Crowe aside, there are two really good actors in this. Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, he's amazing in everything.
Paul Giamatti's fantastic. Really one of the most underrated actors in Hollywood. And also Paddy Considine. From all those Shane Meadows
Which
movies.
one's the one you saw but didn't recognise and you had to go
Giamatti.
Google it? And then you
Well,
were
it was
annoyed
out
that
of
you
Shane
didn't
that was
recognise him.
It was actually both. It was Paul Giamatti and Paddy Considine.
Giamatti though always has like a different beard or different hair and everything he's in though. Sure, see even in Amazing Spider-Man 2 or Sideways, he looks completely
Yeah,
different.
he's one of those just faceless men, Paul Giamatti. He can mould himself into
He's
anything.
even in the fucking Hangover too, and I didn't realise that till like after I googled the film. He's amazing.
What would we do without Google, eh?
Yeah. Speaking of Google,
So that porn magazines.
Richie Baby,
Yes?
what was the
Did you
budget?
just call him Richie Baby?
I call him Richie Baby all the
You
time.
sure did, honey.
Okay, I never heard you.
Fucking this yoke.
before.
The budget was 88 million, and it made 108 million at the box office. So yeah, Ron Howard is drawn in the Milky Bars too.
Did it win an Oscar?
I think it did. I don't know. I'll just double check that. Yeah, Giamatti. Oh no, they were all nominated. 3 nominations, but he won nothing.
Paul Giamatti was nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
And he was the only one who should have won it.
Yeah. Well, he did deserve it.
Looks like Howard's bait didn't get a bite at the Oscars.
So, guys, final thoughts on Cinderella Man?
It was okay. Like, it was grand. It was a good movie, but
Okay, I think I liked it a little more than you guys did.
Too long.
I'd say, I mean, regardless of what happened, that goddamn fight at the end was really
yeah,
exciting.
it was.
It
That
was
was the
very
best
exciting.
part. Poor Richard.
That was good. Like, you know, it had a like, you know, if like I said, I don't like the wife as an actor, so like, you know, a different casting
Renee
issue.
Oh, Renee Zellweger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
here or there would have, I know, made like the relationship and the family seem more, like, you know,
Did you ever,
genuine.
did you ever
I think
hear
the
about
kids and
The
him
kids
seem
are
genuine.
lovely.
And when the little girl punches him in the face, like he's punching with her like 1-2 with the hands, and then she punches him.
Renee Zellweger, she's still an all-star.
No, not anymore. Yeah.
I think she's brilliant as Bridget Jones, and I haven't really liked her as much.
I don't remember the last thing. Not even the last thing I
She's
saw her
in
in.
some movie where she like comes to this really small town, and she has to basically shut down. She's the boss, and she's
I don't remember the last time I
shut
even
down
heard about her.
the factory and everything.
Everyone thought her face was ruined a while ago, but she was never really a stunner to begin with.
Yeah, she
Well, no, she looks like a completely fucking different person.
Yeah, but she
Well,
doesn't look any uglier.
She's kind of a monster now, isn't she? She put on a shit ton of weight for Bridget Jones, and then she lost it all really quickly for a different role. And that's never
And I
happened.
think she looks nicer with the Bridget Jones.
Oh yeah,
weight.
she always looked way better when she was slightly.
And like, yeah, I love her in
Okay.
Bridget Jones, but after that, I don't know. I don't know her in much else, but I haven't liked her in anything that like really liked her anyway. She's like, yeah, okay, but she's Bridget Jones to me, so maybe that's why.
Okay, so moving on to Land of the Dead.
Okay. And I'll walk us in for this one.
Oh,
Land of the Dead. The story of Land of the Dead deals with a zombie assault on Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where a feudal-like government exists. The survivor of the film fled to the Golden Triangle area of downtown Pittsburgh. The region is protected by 2 sides of the river, and on the other by an electric barricade that the survivors termed the throat. I'm not reading this from Wikipedia, by the way.
Okay, this is weird. I seem to like the movies more than all of you guys do.
Oh yeah, it's backwards month actually.
The Land of the Dead bored me. The best thing about it was Roman from the Mentalist.
Well,
Yeah, and it started off quite well. It
Well-
had the opening sequence of, like, you know, trucks done, then after it kind of just died.
Well, okay, a little bit of backstory. So it's written and directed by a guy called George Romero. Now, George Romero is the man who's responsible for basically launching zombies into the pop culture. And I know that there were zombie movies before Night of the Living Dead, his first movie, but he was the guy who was like, okay, they walk in groups, they're slow, they go, ooh, they eat people. If you die, you become a zombie, all that kind of stuff. Night of the Living Dead is like completely nihilistic. It's like everyone dies in that. It's about a small group of people, and they're 2 leaders. One of them is a black man and a white man, and if they can only sort of just get along and work together, they might be okay, but they just can never do that, and so they all die. And you can see George Romero sort of getting softer and softer, and and it's like his ending's getting happier in every movie he makes. So Dawn of the Dead, a couple of characters live, but they might be fucked afterwards. In Day of the Dead, I think they all live and they're all living happily ever after. In Land of the Dead, it's just a fucking breeze. There's a shit ton of characters with a shit ton of weapons, and they're driving around this massive tank, and they barely encounter any sort of resistance, and that's it. They're grand in the end. Happy days.
I just didn't see what even the point of it was. It was just like, it was just kind of like, if we lived in a zombie land, this would be our life now.
I think there's some sort of half-hearted point to it. There usually is. Like in Dawn of the Dead, it's sort of about consumerism. It's because it's set in a shopping mall, and it sort of compares sort of shoppers to zombies. But in this, I think it's something to do about George Bush or some bollocks or another. Whatever it's about, it doesn't make its point very well.
It was quite boring. Maybe it's because of the time now you were watching it and we were tired and stuff, and I'd consumed 3/4 of a bottle of wine at that stage, but I just, nah.
As a zombies movie go, it wasn't great. It had like, you know, the typical, like, you know, there's no real danger. They were too well prepared.
I know, yeah, there's too many goddamn characters to begin with.
Yeah,
And like I said, they're driving around in this tank. Like in the first movie, it's just
what? I'm sorry, was that Bear Grylls? Because it looked like Bear Grylls.
It wasn't Bear Grylls.
It wasn't?
No, definitely wasn't. But like
Bear Grylls.
in the first movie, they were in a house, and their only weapons is whatever is not nailed down.
Yeah.
In this movie, they've got
unlimited resources. It seems.
Like before, there's like I get that, like, you know, zombie who managed to pick up a gun got smart enough to teach the rest of them they can walk on the wall. Before that, they were living fine. You throw a few fireworks up in the air and you can get whatever you want.
I know it's stupid, and actually, George Romero surprisingly completely misses the point about what makes zombies scary, and it's not the fact that, you know, they're able, like one zombie can do something to you, like pick up a gun or whatever. It's their numbers, and it's the fact that they're so inhuman. But he made the absolute most boneheaded move, just to give them characters. So you've got like a lead zombie who can operate sort of guns and stuff, and you've got a sort of like 2 lieutenants, and you literally follow them as characters, and it's the worst decision you could possibly make, because it takes all the threat out of them.
Yeah, so it doesn't seem like you like this film really either.
Not really. I thought it was fine, but zombies need to be sort of a horde or sort of just faceless kind of inhuman things. Yeah.
I'm going to eat your brains.
Whereas like in this, like, you know, the zombies weren't even like, you know, the worst part of the movie. It was more like, you know, the bad guys were like, you know, the humans, they were a bit fucked up, and the zombies just happened to be there.
Are there any zombie movies you do like?
Zombieland.
Literally 2.
Yeah.
Shaun of the Dead and Zombieland.
Oh yeah, Shaun of the Dead.
And that episode of Space Dandy was probably the best thing with zombies I've ever seen.
I
in my
really
whole
like
life.
Shaun of the Dead. I don't get the thing about Zombieland.
Why? Like,
'Cause you hate fun.
it is kind of
fine.
taking the piss out of zombie movies at the same time.
I didn't think it did anything well, or well enough.
It
to
had
get the
Emma
praise it
Stone,
did.
that was enough.
I like Dennis Hopper,
Yeah, he's terrible in this
but
though.
he doesn't give a shit. Like, he is so bored.
I think I picked this movie out
Yeah,
for
like
him
the
alone.
audience.
Like,
I mean, and this is a series that is kind of known for having sort of memorable bad guy characters, like Rhodes, the evil military guy from the third movie. But there's nothing here. There's no memorable dialogue given by this guy. And okay, so the characters are really sort of bland and boring, but you expect that. But what makes up for it is like really sort of bizarre acting or weird lines of dialogue, because George Romero is a fucking terrible writer. But there's nothing like that. There's nothing to sort of laugh at, or, you know, it's just sort of boring the whole way through, isn't it?
yeah. Like, if you can't make Dennis Hopper fun, you fucked up.
But I'd say Dennis Hopper didn't give a shit to begin with.
Like, he was even more fun as fucking Bowser in that atrocious Super Mario Brothers movie.
Basically, don't watch it. It's just.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I mean, after George Romero made Day of the Dead, people were like waiting for decades for him to, please George, make another zombie movie, come on. And then zombies got really popular again after 28 Days Later. And like, this is the movie he came out with. Like, he had so long to come up with something good, and
Well, clearly he no longer cared. He'd done
Yeah,
his
probably
But,
just
like-
didn't give a shit anymore.
and here's
It's
the
like,
thing.
I'm gonna get money for it.
so anyway, Richard, did this movie make any money?
It was 15 million, which is relatively cheap, and made 46 million. So, considering it was made on a budget of chips, it made money.
Yeah, he's always been able to work on a budget. I think Night of the Living Dead cost barely anything. Dawn was about 1 million and Day was about 3. Guys, final thoughts on Land of the Dead.
Boring.
Watch Space Dandy episode 4.
Watch anything else.
I'd say watch Night, Dawn and Day, but don't watch Land. Moving on to our final movie of this episode, Batman Begins.
It's just how the story of how Batman actually begins his journey. So, his parents die tragically, and then, there's also a scene where he falls in a well, and that's why he's afraid of bats, because there's a swarm of bats attack him. And then, because his parents die when he grows up, he wants to like avenge their death, but Rachel, his childhood sweetheart, doesn't want him to do that. He goes off and travels, and he meets this group of vigilantes, and they teach him all these new skills and everything. But then he finds out that the group of vigilantes actually wants to destroy Gotham because they don't believe that it's morally correct anymore, or that it's corrupted. And then he goes and he becomes Batman, basically, to protect Gotham.
I think this is the best on-screen version of Batman. I think up until this point, either the Batman movies have sort of, they haven't followed the source material at all and they've made up their own villains or whatever, or it was like the 60s series where it's completely campy and it's got a whole other tone and it barely resembles Batman, or it's like the Tim Burton movies where, I mean, it's more about Tim Burton than it is about Batman. It's just about how much weird shit Tim Burton can fit onto the
The
screen.
first one wasn't, the second one was.
But it's like, this is the first movie that was really about Batman. You know, it was about the character Batman, and everything revolved around him and his motivations and, you know, his struggles and his own fears and desires. And it wasn't everything about the cinematography and the set design. It all complemented the character and the source material. It didn't feel sort of ham-fisted in there just because the director sort of liked the idea of it.
Yeah, and I also feel like, I don't know, I was surprised when I found out this only came out 10 years ago, because I feel like I've been watching this for years. Maybe it's just how many times I've seen it, but I feel like it's just something that I've always watched. I don't know.
I'm glad. It's obvious that Christopher Nolan did not have as much creative control as he did later on, because Nolan loves to talk and show how smart he is. In this, there's only as much dialogue as they needed. It's not fucking 3 hours long of dialogue.
And it's really well paced as well.
Yeah, it's not like Inception or fucking Interstellar where talk.
I don't think there's a single sort of scene in this movie that's boring. Like, everything serves a purpose, and it ramps up as well. It starts sort of disconnected, the scenes, and then it slowly sort of builds up speed, and it keeps sort of, and then by the climax it's just moving at 100 miles an hour, and the time between scenes gets shorter as well. So by the climax it's more or less in real time.
I love Alfred.
He's cool, actually. And that's a very different Alfred as well. Usually he's very snarky and posh. This one's like the cockney former soldier, but it works really well for his character, oddly.
It's cute that he like tells him he's never going to give up on him.
I think they really underused Scarecrow. It's just, I don't know, maybe because I love Scarecrow and I was expecting more of him, and Rachel Gould was really the real villain. Scarecrow's just a pawn. He gets beaten up by Rachel, for fuck's sake.
I think, yeah, it's disappointing because Scarecrow has so much potential.
And then
he's such an awesome villain.
Like, he's in this for 5 minutes, he's in The Dark Knight for 5 minutes, he's in Dark Knight Rises for 5 minutes.
He's in this one for quite a bit. But he's
okay,
in the
10
other
minutes.
Two. No, he's in it from the beginning to the end.
Batman's in this more movie than he is.
But
Well, the movie is Batman.
But Batman doesn't appear until like
You say that like it's totally
Batman in the suit does not appear until like 90 minutes in. That's
Because
actually a
it's
reoccurring
Batman
thing.
Begins.
But that's a reoccurring thing in all the Nolan movies, actually.
I think that's
Batman in the suit barely actually appears.
I think that's the one sort of area where this whole franchise sort of falls down. Is it's a shame they had to be so realistic, because that means that sort of goofier characters like Scarecrow had to sort of be pushed to the side in favor of more boring ones like Ra's al Ghul.
Rachel Gould is like fucking
Okay,
supernatural
but
in
what
the
about
comics.
the other ones? Like, do you not think Joker is like the best?
Joker's not in this at all, though.
I know, but he's in the following two.
Yeah.
I think Joker's amazing, and I think Joker is as
Yeah.
good as this franchise gets. Like, it's the best thing he produced. But I think The Dark Knight gets the tone of, well, it should be a good bit better than Batman Begins. Batman Begins, even though it's a great film, it's still not without a few faults. Like, do you not feel the scene where he does the sort of the sonar, and all the bats come flying, like the millions and millions and millions of bats come flying to help him out.
Do we not find it what though?
It clashes, I think, with the realism. I think.
I thought the fight scenes in this film were actually terrible.
Like it's about a vigilante superhero.
I know.
There has to be some kind of things that that aren't real.
No, but I'm saying Batman shouldn't be in the slightest bit realistic, but this movie tries a little bit too hard to bring realism.
Well, see,
they
Batman I
shouldn't
think
have,
is
I think.
one of the more realistic superheroes because he wasn't bitten by some bat.
I think
that
only
gave
in
him
the sense that he doesn't have
Yeah.
superpowers.
He's
He's
just
right.
got lots of money.
I think only in the sense that he doesn't have superpowers. Is
Yeah, but
realistic.
that's what makes it more
In
realistic.
every other,
so-
but like if you've ever read the comics, you know he's just as unrealistic and goofy as every other superhero. I think Batman is just, it's necessarily more fun when it just throws realism at the window, like in Batman the Animated Series.
Well, that's a cartoon.
Yeah,
you don't
but that
expect any level of realism.
when it's actually a film, even with Superman or anything where he's got super strength and all that, you still expect a certain amount of realism when it's actually a physical
no, I disagree.
person. in
Yeah,
front
I
of
know.
you.
Not with movies, not with comic movies these days. I mean, the Avengers, everyone loved that, and that's not the slightest bit realistic.
It is.
It's
in a
more
way,
realistic
they
than a
set limits.
cartoon.
The Avengers is a
What
giant
way
cartoon.
what way
A
did
green
they set
angry
limits?
man.
They have the Incredible Hulk.
A Norse god.
Yes, but there's a reason. He is the Hulk.
I just think people expect a certain amount of just like a tiny bit more realism from physical characters that are in front of you than when it's a cartoon.
Jeez, you sound like my man.
I just don't understand why you'd expect or want realism from the superhero
I'm not.
movie.
It's
The last
subconscious.
thing
It's
you
not.
want.
really.
You're not going into the film going now. If Thor is able to lift that hammer and then fly up to the sky and go to a different planet, that is ridiculous. That shouldn't be allowed in the movie. We're talking about I don't know. Like Scarlett Johansson doesn't have special powers in it, does she? She's just,
like a super spy.
yeah.
She was trained since
but
she was a young
she
kid.
gets. We expect her to get hurt and to bleed, like the Arrow guy as well. They have their
Or
skills. but
Arrow.
we still,
It's very realistic to just like shoot 3 hours behind your head and hit three
But
lads
they
bullseye.
get hurt in the comics and in the cartoon.
Yes.
So Christian Bale, what do you think of him as Batman?
I love
He's
him.
good. I love
I
Christian
love his
Bale.
voice.
You like him as Batman?
I love. Christian
Okay,
Bale.
I'm not crazy about him as Batman.
Christian Bale is one of my favourite actors, but I will say he's not the best Batman.
I prefer Michael Keaton in the role.
Same.
I don't think his movies is good, but then again, I don't
I
think
just
any.
look like Christian Bale's voice is him, and even
That's
you
a
know when
problem.
he's upside
Yeah.
down and he's your man's like, where are you or something, and he's like, here.
I find it just weird. Like, I know he has to try to be put on a different voice with his Batman, but it's like really.
Yeah, he doesn't need to sound like he has larynx removed.
I don't think there's ever really been a great, like a really great definitive live action Batman. I like.
I think it's a hard role because
It
you're trying
is a
to
damn
play
hard
the millionaire playboy
Playboy.
and this dark superhero that has to be dark but you have to still like him.
But you're also playing this character who, and the only part of him you can see is his chin. Like that's not.
You have to have a
cakewalk.
good chin.
Yeah.
That's why everyone got thick about Ben Affleck, because apparently his chin isn't chinny enough, whatever.
I think, I know, and you're going to be like, oh, don't mention the cartoon, but I think my favourite depiction of Batman as far as actors go is still the guy who voiced him in Batman the Animated
Kevin
Series.
Conroy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's class.
Does anyone remember that really awful Batman? It wasn't a cartoon. It was like a program that used
The
to
Adam
be
West
on
one.
at like 6 or something, Batman and Robin, and then it would be like
No, no, no,
kapow,
no, no, no,
kapow.
That's the 60s one, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, it was like looking back now, it was absolutely shocking. But me and Crystal
Well,
loved
Batman
it.
in that movie was based off of Hugh Hefner, so like,
That's-
what did you expect?
That's how most people, I think, at least sort of a
That's
few
too
decades ago, found out about Batman.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
That's how I was introduced to the character.
Yeah,
anyway.
me too.
same.
But it just
It was like the comic book style.
it was
animation
pretty
where
awful.
everything's
Like if you look back at it now, you kind of be like, oh
like-
my god.
It has a weird charm though.
It wears out after you've watched a couple episodes, but it does. It
And
is
it, like
definitely.
we were talking about unrealistic fighting. It was literally like
Oh, my sharp
Oh.
repellent spray.
pow,
it
bang, boom.
But like it was all tongue in cheek.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Like it's
just-
very amusing. Like if you watch an episode or two.
It never was trying to be serious. It was always trying to be as
Yeah,
silly as
like
it
in
could be.
They just look
Like
so
the Joker had a
ridiculous.
bleached mustache, for fuck's sake.
Like I don't. Like, and every now and then they'd slip in a slightly clever line. Like, there's one episode where Batman, in the full ridiculous outfit, goes to like a nightclub, and he's like, "Sit me in the back. I don't want to be noticed."
Yeah, it was really good, but I don't know, it's just cheesy.
Bears Ward to turn down the role
Like
of
now,
graduate
is what I'm saying. It would
Robin.
never be like accepted as proper.
No.
Nah.
But it was just, I used to love it as a kid. Like,
Yeah, the funny thing about the Batman, the series is the Batman franchise had to struggle for decades and decades to sort of get over the sort of cheesy 60s series, and then Frank Miller, or whoever it was, who did The Dark Knight Returns, and then there was the Michael Keaton movie. And then it all went to hell again when they made Batman and Robin, which brought it right back to the fucking cheesy 60s series.
The Ice Age.
And then they had to spend another decade getting over that until they finally made Batman Begins.
Can we say how the fights in Batman Begins were actually pretty shit?
Yeah, they're filmed way too close up and they're edited really poorly.
And you can tell that Christian Bale is punching a stuntman half the time.
But in terms of other action sequences like that chase scene,
Well, okay, the chase scene with the
I think
fat
that-
tank was class.
that might be my favourite goddamn car chase ever. Like, there's only a couple ones that could beat it, like the car chase from Ronin, maybe.
I love the like
The one from
police
French
guy,
Connection.
like, you know, like I love, like, you know, cops, like when they're like describing what's happening, or like, you know, like there's one of them, like, you know, he's driving a what's the make model, a black tank, and there's another one like, can you please describe to me what it looks like?
Yeah.
Zoom.
But the geography of it is perfect. You can make out exactly what's happening, and you can feel the distance between the Batmobile and the cops behind them. It's just edited so goddamn well. It's edited as well as the fight scenes were edited poorly.
maybe it was a different person.
Okay,
Maybe it
speaking of
was
the
just-
Batmobile, I really don't like the design.
I think it's alright.
I don't like it. It doesn't have enough style.
Well, it is made for plowing through traffic, though.
No, it's made for jumping over bridges in war. I mean, it's
Yeah, but that's
it was
lame.
designed as a tank.
But I don't
Yeah, the
like it
fact
as a
that
tank.
it bothers you are a dork. You are born.
Oh,
you
I'm-
knew all the Robins. You don't like this. You're like you should be. You are Sheldon. And you should be in the big.
Oh,
bad
like you knew I was a fucking
But see,
geek
this
anyway.
is
though,
why
for
we
it.
come back to the realism. If he'd gone into, like, you know, Fox's lair and there was, like, you know, that perfectly styled Batmobile
I know,
there.
that's what I'm saying. It shouldn't have been realistic.
But I think it kind of.
But
is,
then
you
you're
know.
going back to you're edging back towards the cheesiness, which you were saying took a whole decade to get.
there's a nice sort of balance, and
Yeah, we just.
that balance is Batman the
You
animated
get
series.
some work
I didn't think the design of Batmobile was, like, horrible. Like, I know it didn't have, like, you know, the Batmobile fins where, like,
There's
you know.
no pizzazz to it. You know, it's just
Pizzazz.
a black
I was waiting
tank.
for you to do
What about
jazz
the back
and
bike?
stare.
Like the back bike in Dark Knight.
It's alright.
Sorry.
The Bat Plane, who fights Bane.
I love the 90s Batmobile, but I don't like anyone's after it.
Well, but that because it was styled to be the Batmobile. It was probably, he built it for that exact function. Where in
And
this
yeah,
one,
yeah.
he found the tank and was just like, I like this. It goes
Remember,
fast.
it's
Does
the
it come in black?
beginning as well. It's Batman Begins, so it's like it's the start of his career.
Yeah,
as
but he
Batman.
never gets the proper Batmobile. If he'd gotten the proper Batmobile afterwards, I'd agree with you, but he doesn't. He blows it up in the second movie.
Anyway, I would recommend watching this movie. I've watched it a few
Yeah.
times.
It's a start to
And
what
there's a
became a
whole
very,
new
very good series.
Generation loving as well.
Yeah. No, I would definitely recommend it. I love it. With a couple of reservations aside, I really, really like it. I think it would been building up. We'd gotten like 2 X-Men movies and 2 Spider-Man movies that were really well received. But I think this is the one that really kicked off the superhero craze that we're still right at the apex at, really.
Yeah, I
Been
love
going
my
on for the last
superhero
10
movies.
years. Are you a fan of superhero movies?
Yeah, like I don't think I know them as well as you now, but
Like
yeah,
I
do
don't.
love them.
I don't read comics at all. I don't even like superhero
I
comics.
don't.
but,
I wouldn't read comics or anything. But ever since
I like
was
the
a kid,
cartoons though.
Watch Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, X-Men,
Yeah.
Avengers.
I'm really, really burnt out on Marvel, so I just want the bubble to pop at this point.
I know we laugh at sort of George Lucas because he's so out of touch, but I think he's dead on when he says that all it's gonna take is a couple of bombs, and then, like you said, the bubble will pop.
No, it won't. I see this lasting as long as 2019.
No, I can't. No, I disagree with you. I think
But I think
At least until the
superhero
actors get
movies,
too old.
there'll be something that'll die out and it'll come back.
it'll come back alright. It always comes back. It comes back every 20 odd years. But I
So
think,
this I think was one of the longest stretches of
Yeah, definitely.
superheroes.
but they've never made so much money off them as they have now. But I think he is right, George Lucas, when he says, I think if they lose, all they need to do is lose a couple $100 million on maybe 2 or 3 movies, and that'll be it. They'll keep making them, but they'll be far fewer and far between, and will be made for far less money.
That's what they
Probably
need. We have
very
like 2 or 3 Marvel movies a year.
No,
which is awesome.
I can't wait for that to happen because
Same.
I'm sick of them. It's not that I hate superhero movies or superheroes in general. It's just I'm fucking sick of seeing them in the theater. Okay, guys. Final thoughts on Batman Begins?
Watch it.
It's a great film. Just give the entire series a chance.
You already know it's good. You already seen it 10 times.
What do you
Yeah,
think?
exactly.
Well, okay. Now that Karen's brought up the rest of the series, what do you guys think of The Dark Knight?
I thought The Dark Knight Rises the first 5 minutes because I'm never going to be able to say this.
The Dark
Best,
Knight, the second one,
best.
the second one.
Yeah, but I'm never
I
going to
thought
say
it was
this.
brilliant, and I watched it twice in the cinema, but once I was on a date. So.
And what about the third one, Dark Knight Rises?
5 minutes, the best scene of any movie ever.
Yeah,
I'm serious.
I don't know.
Best movie,
Well, that's
best
a-
5 minutes.
So, anyways, well, if we do this
I
podcast,
love the ending.
No, the first,
I-
the intro.
The final one. I love the ending of the series.
CIA is the best character in any movie ever.
I didn't really like the third one. Richard, what did this take in at the box office?
Let's see now. Superman ends. Its budget was 150 million, and it made 374.2 million.
Not
So
bad,
again,
okay.
Nolan's rolling around the Milky Bars.
So that about does it for this episode of the Decade Old Podcast. We have a Facebook page, the Decade Old Podcast, so give us an all like there. If you're listening to us on iTunes, you might be nice enough to give us a review or give us a star rating. But until then, it's goodbye from me, Conor Curie.
Bye for me, Karen O'Sullivan.
Bye from me. Glow, glow.
Hell yeah, goodbye.